Hello and welcome. This is a new episode from Aero Arduino, and this is Aviation World, and this is your host Ahmed. Today we are talking about the aircraft landing gear and how they can work on ground, and also how they function on ground, and is air the aircraft can the aircrafts go backward. So some people and some of my friends have always been asking me about that thing and how aircrafts move on ground and what's the function of the landing gear and if the aircrafts can go backwards. Some people know about that thing and some aviation geeks and aviation enthusiasts know about it, but non-professionals don't know exactly what it's the function of the landing gear for the aircrafts and on ground. The landing gear mainly and actually move the aircraft on the ground only, and they don't have any function except moving the aircraft at the takeoff and the landing, and also moving the aircraft on ground while taxiing or going to the gate or transferring from place to another or going to the hangar for maintenance, relocation for some position to another on ground. That's the function of the landing gear. And the most impressive thing that the landing gear is only passive wheels that don't move by themselves. Only they are rolled and they don't actually rotate by themselves. The aircraft actually pushes those wheels forward to move from one place to another. And most aircrafts actually you can say that all the aircrafts cannot move backwards on ground by themselves. And that's because those wheels don't move, and we will say about some exceptions while we are speaking. So why the aircrafts are passive and they don't rotate? Because actually they have no function, as we said, on the aircraft, only on ground, and that's, you can say that's a minor function. Of course, it's not the main function of the aircraft. Its main function is to move on into the sky, and its secondary function is to move on the ground. So the landing gear do not rotate by themselves, but they are pushed and propelled using the aircraft engines. The aircraft engines push the aircraft forward, and then the wheels are rolled and can rotate due to reactive actions on ground, so they move the aircraft forward and they can manipulate the aircraft to any position, but they don't rotate, they don't steer by themselves except for the nose wheel that steer, but they don't have directional rotation, or you can steer one wheel or another, so you can turn the aircraft right or left. As we've said before, that the nose landing gear can be steered to push the aircraft, but the aircraft actually is pushed and propelled by the engines. So how the aircrafts go backward? That's by the pushback. The pushback tug that pushes the aircraft backwards, because the aircraft cannot go backwards. But there are some exceptions. Some aircrafts has systems called thrust reverser. Those systems are systems in the engine that can make thrust pushes the aircraft backward by making the thrust goes forward, so the aircraft is pushed backwards. But that doesn't work in all aircrafts, only on small portion of aircrafts like military aircrafts. And I've seen only one type of aircraft, that's called C-17, the Globemaster, that can thrust reverse to push itself on ground backwards. And only the C5, the Super Galaxy C5, can propel itself using the thrust reverser. But in all other cases and all commercial aircrafts, the thrust is only pushes the aircraft forward, and the landing gear is rolled as an reactive action for this action. Now let's see the other special cases. On one company have started something called wheel tug. It's an electric motor, can be connected to the aircraft landing gear to propel it by itself and make it self-rotating so that it can be moved by itself, and then on ground some aircraft fuel can be reduced, and because that we don't want to consume that aircraft fuel on ground to move the aircraft forward on the ground, so that electric motor can be connected to the landing gear. It's called wheel tug. It's connected to the landing gear to push the aircraft forward, and even can be rotated in the other direction to move the aircraft backwards. Anyway, it's a new invention, and it's approved already and can be connected to aircrafts to move them around on ground, but it's not available for all aircraft types. As for pushing the aircraft backwards, we've seen that the pushback tug pushes the aircraft backwards, and also that wheel tug can be used in this case also. And here is some other invention. It's the Mototug, the electric tug. The remotely controlled electric tug can be used to push the aircraft forward and backwards on ground, and also reduces fuel consumption, and also reduces the costs of the conventional tug or pushback. Anyway, the wheels, the landing gear wheels, are very important part on the aircraft, but as we've seen that their function is secondary to the aircraft, but it's so important to keep the aircraft moving on the ground forward and backwards. That was the episode today. So if you like this episode, please click like, share with your friends, and subscribe. Thank you and goodbye.